This is Asha. Welcome. I'm doing something different today. I've got like a new setup going on here, and so we're just gonna go with the flow and see what comes of it. I'm gonna start by bringing some sweetness, some lightness, some love into the space. I'm gonna light some Palo Santo. And I'm going to blow into this Palo Santo love. All is well, all is well. All is well. Everything's coming together perfectly. Everything is as it should be. Okay. And I've got some sage here. We'll do a little bit of that. I blew peace into the sage. I feel it's a really lovely way to set an intention when you are smudging, clearing, is to blow that intention actually into the plant, into the flame. Okay, that feels good. I'm going to pull a card from Esther Hicks, Getting into the Vortex deck. It's a deck that has cards focused around relationships, and not just like romantic relationships, like relationships in the largest sense of the word, right? Our relationship to ourselves, to others, to the world. And I really like this deck. Okay. Mm. This is card number 11. Of course it is. New beginnings. This is the card that I've pulled. That's the front. And then the back is the explanation, the continuation. Okay. I have control of the vibration I offer. Once you begin to believe or expect good feeling things to come, you're in the vortex. And once you get in there, now you are a cooperative component. Now you get to rendezvous with all of the good stuff that you have put there, and you can train yourself there. You can do it in a day. You have control of everything that rendezvous with you when you get control of the vibration that you offer. And you get control of the vibration that you offer when you care about how you feel. Mm. I I'm still very much integrating from the last Fit for Service immersive, and which was like 2 days ago. And I have been in this like half work, half integrating restful space, and largely not doing any of the things I had previously planned to do, and feeling some type of way about that. And also understanding that I know how this goes. I've been to many, many of these and other retreats and some ceremony like events, and I understand that integration is an important part of that and something that is necessary. And it's funny. For this one, I didn't plan my integration. Usually, I always plan my integration. I usually always plan to have at least a week after I get back from anything like this to integrate. And I don't have anything super important planned so that I give myself enough time to just be, and to go with whatever, I'm being called to do or focus on. And for some reason, because this was 2 days, I didn't think much about it. And I was like, I didn't even cross my mind to, schedule in integration time. But in hindsight, I'm like, yeah, I totally didn't do that. And honestly, for the way that my life is set up, it's not like a huge thing, you know? Like, it's not like, I mean, I don't work a traditional job. So I have complete control over like my time and what I do and when I do it. And so at this point, it's not like, it is for a lot of people, for you guys probably watching. It's not like it is for probably you. You have somewhere you have to be at a certain time, majority of the time. And so it really hasn't been that difficult, but it's just mostly been me bumping up against the expectations I had of myself and letting go of those the best that I can and just being kind and gentle to myself and um, allowing myself to have this thing for me. So, yeah. At the beginning of this month, I created my ethos. I do a new ethos every month. I've got a amazing video guide on how to do this. And um, I call it my manifestation ritual. And essentially, what I do is for every single area of my life, I write out my ethos for it, how I approach it, what my rules are, what um, my goals are, what I'm striving towards. And I pull all this from a receptive place, right? Like I get into a place of meditation, I get into a place where I'm connected to my inner being, my intuition, my higher self, and I'm pulling these ethos from that space. And ultimately, the goal for me in that is to continually be having my goals and what I'm focused on be what my spirit has for me, to be that next closest step that I can take in my personal spiritual evolution, be exactly what I am embodying. And so every month I go through that process and I create a new ethos because it's always evolving, right? We're always growing, always improving. Um, and so I created that one, and I feel like I'm being called to do another one. even though it's only mid month, right? The ethos is a living document. It's something that's meant to be continually changed and modified. And so I don't mean to make it come across or make it seem as if it's something you can only do once a month. It's not. You could do it whenever you feel called to do it. And I'm feeling called to do it. Yeah, I'm feeling called to do it. And part of that excites me. And also, there's a part of me that is um, gathering itself, that's getting itself ready, that's like, maybe a little scared. Um, I've, since the immersive, I've been feeling like, um, I feel that like that part of me that's like still feels small. And I feel myself tearing up like right now. Like I need to cry. But there's this part of me that feels really, that small part of me that's been with me since I was a child, um, that has all these stories about why we're not enough, why there isn't enough, and why what we want isn't for us. And it's diametrically opposed to everything that I'm calling in. And I recognize that the reason that, I'm feeling these feelings right now is because I am starkly aware of both and they're in contradiction to each other. So, and the more that I am aware and focus on the voice and the feeling of fear and lack, the stronger my desire becomes, the stronger my inner truth becomes, the more clear it becomes. And so it's like this continual process. It's like, being in the fire and then being in the cold water and like back and forth and back and forth. They both refine each other. Like that experience, the sensations, it becomes a lot more acute because of the stark contrast between the two. And so that's very much what it feels like for me right now. And so I have been honestly a lot of distracting, um, and a lot of thinking. And I can do less thinking and pause a bit more between my distractions. And for me, I view distractions as such a marvelous gift. And I would love to come up with a new word for distractions. But a distraction from the the thoughts that don't feel good, the thoughts that aren't serving me, because I feel the clarity that's come from them, and so focusing on them and like just like wallowing in that does not serve me. Um, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole into childhood trauma again, or go down this rabbit hole and then, end up depressed again. That's not the point of this. The point of of this coming up, these thoughts of fear, these thoughts of lack, um, is to allow me to understand what I do want instead, right? It's like, hey, this is still here. This is still here. Yeah. But it's only because you haven't chosen. There's more you need to choose, right? By feeling this feeling, it's helping you clarify what you actually want. And this has all happened on like an energetic level. Like it's not something you always need to be super conscious about, like consciously understand. It's happening automatically, naturally. So I'm not worried about whether I can specifically voice every single bit of this, because it doesn't matter. It's still serving me, it's still working through me. So I don't need to have all the right words, to be able to talk about it in a sense. But the way the distractions serve me is it allows me to take attention off of what I don't want, off the problem, off, the pain, off the narratives that don't serve me, and be in a more open and receptive space to receive what is for me, to receive what my inner being, my soul, my intuition, my higher self actually has for me. That's what the distractions give to me, putting me in that receptive space. And um, distractions for me can be anything really. Like, distraction might be like listening to a podcast or going on a walk. I went on a really nice long walk this afternoon around the neighborhood, listening to music, um, dancing around the house. I do that often. That's a wonderful distraction for me. Um, Doing a tarot reading, that's a great distraction. And so, really, distraction for me, it's just the name for an activity that helps you shift your focus. Guess we could call it a pivot. Yeah, I like pivot better. Pivoting's an actual an actual thing. But this is a pivot of sorts, right? Distractions allow you to pivot your attention. And I do this intentionally. I intentionally shift my focus from one thing to another thing because I understand what it does. I understand how it works. I understand that if I can just pivot my focus to this thing that feels better for a couple minutes, then that thing that was feeling really tight, really activated, and I wasn't able to shift directly, that's going to soften. That'll soften. That'll, spirit will begin to work that out. And when it's, time, or when it's in a easier place for me to work with, it'll work its way back in. It'll come back as a thought or an idea or whatever, or an epiphany or something that feels a little bit better. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And the only way I could access that, right, is being in the receptive, feel good space, right? You never solve a problem from a place of being upset. It just doesn't really work that way. But if you can allow yourself like space and time away from whatever is going wrong, whatever you perceive the issue to be, the solution usually comes. It always does, eventually. So, been doing a lot of that for sure. And I will I'll make sure to include a link to the ethos workshop I've created, the monthly manifestation ritual. I created a video guide. I think it's around 45 minutes long. It is a full workshop. I used to do just this workshop standalone. But now I have a large portion of it on my YouTube channel so that you can take this medicine, take this gift, and use it to serve yourself and your goals and your desires and level up yourself. I'm actually partnering, well, I'm calling it in. I'm talking with a sister of mine, and um, we have some overlapping similarities and inspiration around what I've created in the ethos um, workshop. And so I may be offering this as a virtual workshop and possibly even in person workshop. And I'm excited about that idea. I'm really excited about that idea. It's been Um, it's probably been like a good 7 or 8 months since I've done the workshop live, whether online or in person. And it's just so different, so much different, and so much more like juicier doing it with people because one, you just, the energy just gets so electric because we are all tapping into that that field. We're all tapping into the collective unconscious. We're tapping into the Akashic records. We're tapping into everything spiritual, non-physical. We're accessing that so that we can allow that to pour into us and we can put it into a physical form. And so just that alone is electric. And I guide everyone through a deep, intensive, completely opening meditation so that we can receive that wisdom from my inner being. And then I guide us through the entire workshop with the prompts so that we can, in that open space, begin to um, express and write down the wisdom that's coming through, the downloads. And then at the end, we share. We share our ethos with each other. And just listening to someone else's ethos is so inspiring. And it's very much um, I create a culture of sharing. There is no stealing. There is no, that's my idea, or no, that was my download. You can't have it. No, like we're co creating it together. There's no separation in that. And so, you know, if I say something, I read my ethos and you deeply resonate with it, it lights you up. That was meant for you. That is also in you. Take that, add it to your ethos, right? I hear something that you say that really inspires me and gets me excited, and it's like, oh, that was also meant for me. I'll take that, I'll add it to my ethos. And it ends up making us feel and seem even more interconnected when we add bits and pieces from each other's experience into our own. You know, as it makes it a lot more tangible to see how we're connected when we can understand and see how we're inspired by each other's ideas. But even without that, we're all still connected. We're all still tapping into that same collective unconscious, that same field, that same infinite, abundant source space. We're just interpreting it in slightly different ways. We're just filtering it in a different way. That's all. So, man, yeah, I would really love to do this in person again with my sister. Oh my God, I'm feeling it now, and I'm feeling that it's happening. It's already happened. That feels good. Yeah, there are like really two instances where I really feel like I'm lighting some more Palo Santo. Where I really feel like the ethos workshop, you know, creating that ethos, it's time. And the first way you know, you just take from my example. An example presented here in this video, and that example is um, you are feeling some contrast that's giving you a lot of clarity, right? Something happens that doesn't feel good, that you don't want, and makes you acutely aware of what you do want. And it's different than the way, you know, things have sort of been. This is a time. to do a new ethos. This is the time to write out your ethos, to go through the process, to tap in and put yourself in a truly receptive state so you can receive what the next, what your next step of embodiment is, what that feels like. So that's the first way you know. The other time it's a good time to do it is when you are utterly confused. If you are feeling confused, if you're lacking clarity, if you're, trying to make a decision, trying to figure out which way to go, what to do, it's time. It's time for it. Um, the true crux of the true magic medicine of the Ethos Manifestation Workshop is the meditation. And in the YouTube video, it is not I don't take you through a full blown meditation like I would do in the live ones. It is shortened. Um, but if you are, well, and if you are looking for a guided meditation, I have one on my website. Um, I've got one on my YouTube channel. And I'll correct that. I have many guided meditation videos on my YouTube channel. So you could pick any one of those that resonates with you or do your own meditation practice to get into a receptive state. And I would say the longer that you can stay in that receptive state, the higher that you can get your vibration, the better you can feel, the easier it's going to be to receive that knowledge and bring that wisdom down into a place where you can write it. So, you'll know when you'll know when you're ready to begin working with the prompts. But yeah, those are like the two instances in which um I've pinpointed for myself that it's time. And then lastly, a very neutral time will be every month, right? Every month. Go back in, do it again. Start fresh. Don't recycle ethos. Don't do that. Start completely fresh every time. That's how I do my day. I don't carry things over from day to day. Um, I don't carry over to-do lists. Every single day I start fresh. I sit down. I'm like, what do I want to do today? What delights me? What is Spirit calling me to do today? What does today have to offer to me? It's a very refreshing and freeing way to live life because I am not holding myself to expectations. Oh, snap. I talked about that at the beginning of this. Yes, that's why I didn't, that's why um, I got excited. That's why I didn't feel great earlier because I was recognizing that I had some expectations of things I wanted to do today. I planned today before it came. And then I ended up needing something different. So this is why I don't generally do that. Yeah. And I'd planned this and I did this before I knew I was going to this immersive. So, like, I set this plan in place under a completely different understanding of what was going to conspire over these days. And I didn't adjust that afterwards. So, okay. It makes sense. I get it now. I get it now. Mm. Oh, I am feeling called to, I want to talk about, oh, sorry, I bumped the mic. I want to talk and share with you about my offerings, my Law of Asha offerings. I have gotten asked a lot of questions recently about what I offer, why I offer it, how it works, um, what I do. Because from the outside, it can seem like, I offer these wide variety of things, but what's the through thread of them? So I'm going to talk about those. And before I do, I'm going to read one of these relationship cards because in a way, this is like me, strengthening and building our relationship with each other. And I'm going to be talking about how we can engage with each other in a business professional relationship, an energetic relationship, a coaching relationship. So let's see which one it is. Ooh. Okay, this is card number 22. We start off with card 11. Now we've got card 22. Nothing's a coincidence. There we go. That's the front. And this is the back. Okay. Beneficial beliefs feel better when I think them. There are things in your environment that you believe that match what you want. And there are all kinds of things in your environment that you believe that defy what you want. How would you ever sort them out? How do you know what active beliefs within you that serve, sorry, how do you know the active beliefs within you that serve you well and the active beliefs that do not serve you? How do you know the beneficial beliefs from the detrimental ones? The beneficial beliefs feel better when you think them. The detrimental ones feel worse when you think them. We were just talking about that. Feeling the difference between the thoughts that feel good and the thoughts that don't. And, where you're putting your focus. But this is such a key right now because it is letting you know as well that you can understand which ones are the good ones because those feel better. So, gotta love Abraham. Okay. I am going to start with my life coaching offerings. So if you mosey on over to lawofasha.com, that's my website. I have my offerings split into two major categories. Work and life. So under life, I've included all of my offerings that are related to the law of attraction, that are related to coaching, that are related to any sort of energy work, anything spiritual. All of that is going to be under the life category. And the first offering that I have here is actually a free offering. And it's a prerequisite towards any of my services. With any of all of my services under life, it is a requirement that before we engage, that you watch the Manifestation 101 webinar that I have created. This webinar takes you through the basic foundations of the law of attraction through the lens of me, right? Everyone sort of has their own little flavor or taste or perspective on the law of attraction, on how the universe works, how reality works, how we can engage with that, and what's actually happening here. And by you understanding this foundation that I'm working from, it allows the service to be so much more beneficial to you and way more activating, right? Because we're on the same page, we're in resonance, we're in sync. If we're not, then you're not going to get the most out of it because you are on a different wavelength than I am. And I honestly, this is something that, every coach should do, And most do. Most do. Most have something out there where you can experience them and get to understand like who they are, what their philosophies are, what their approach to, um, to personal and spiritual development is, so you can decide if they resonate. But this is essentially your way of getting to understand me, my perspective, how I view the world, um, so that we're in resonance when we move forward into whatever service you decide to engage in. So that is the first step, watching the Manifestation 101 video. And it's not just for newbies. I know a lot of people that are interested in working with me that are not new to spirituality, not new to law of attraction, and feel very competent in that. It is still a requirement that you watch it. Um, and that is because, again, it's really important to me that we are on the same page, that you understand where I'm working from, you understand the terminology I use, which isn't always standard. I come up with some of my own terms. I have a very, at this point, particular flavor through which I like to talk about things. And the more that we can use the same words to communicate, and the more that we are in the same wavelength, the easier this process is going to be of me serving you and helping you, and you being in a receptive space to receive that. Okay. So, my next offering under life is life coaching. So, I offer 1 hour phone sessions. And these are essentially just life coaching sessions. Ultimately, what the goal of these is going to be dependent on you. It's going to be dependent on what your intention is, what you're working on, what you're working through, what you're looking to get out of it. My ultimate goal when I go into these sessions is to be in a aligned and receptive space to allow whatever wisdom that source has for you to come through me. So I don't usually come in with an agenda or like a lesson plan or like a template, like checking off boxes. I don't do that. My style is very conversational. It's like we're friends, and we are. You're my friend. I care about you. I want the best for you. I want everything that you desire to manifest for you. And I want to give you every single piece of wisdom, information, and perspective that helps you make the shift that you need to make. And so that's what I approach. That's the energy through which I approach these sessions. So the pre work for the coaching session is available on my website. And it's very much the same for all of my life offerings. There's 4 steps. The first step is watching Manifestation 101. Done, easy, already talked about that one. The second step is avoiding thinking about whatever the situation you've requested help is until those thoughts are in a better feeling place. So it's, not activating unnecessarily the trigger, the trauma, so that I can help you feel for and access the love and the wisdom of source of your inner being. Third step is don't talk to anyone about the situation you've requested help with unless those conversations are in a better feeling direction. If the conversation turns negative, change the subject or end the conversation. Extremely important that you do that. The last thing that you want is to, go and talk to someone about this thing you're trying to work on, what you're trying to do, and they just reflect back to you all of the, limiting and fearful beliefs that you have. It happens, right? That's often why people say like, oh, if you are working on something new, you're becoming a new person, like, move in silence. You don't need to tell everyone everything. And there is a certain element of truth to that, especially if you are in a period of severe transition. Because unbeknownst to themselves, people mirror and reflect each other, and they may very well reflect back to you what you're actually trying to walk away from. It's just really important to be very intentional about who you are talking to, about whatever the situation is. You don't want the conversation to take you in a worse direction. um, and so if you don't understand where I'm coming from with this, that is okay. But it is something that you'll need to agree to, right, as a part of this process. And you just need to trust me that it's all with the goal and intention of helping you make the shifts and the changes that you want in your life. Okay, and then number 4 is start to feel as if your desire has already been fulfilled. That will draw the desired reality closer. And that's as simple as that. Um, if you are able to feel like whatever it is that you want, or whatever it is that you're turning towards, that it already is, that it already exists, that is what your reality currently is, then it draws it to you much faster than keeping it in a perspective of, oh, I want this, or I want this, or like I want to be confident. I want a new house. I want a lover. That's from a place of it's not there yet, and that's why I want it. Versus if you change it to I am confident. I have a lover. I'm in my house. That draws it much quicker to you. So, wonderful, wonderful book goes into detail on this is The Feeling is the Secret by Neville Goddard. I actually recorded this audiobook. It is on my YouTube channel. I'll put a link to it down below so that you can listen to it. It's one of my favorite Neville books, and it elaborates beautifully on this exact thing that I'm talking about. So I definitely recommend that you listen to that audiobook. So, but those are the 4 pre-work steps for nearly every single life offering that I have. Now, the next service that I offer is called remote reality shifting. And I created remote reality shifting as a way to model what I do in my life to manifest. It very much relates to step 4 of the pre work, but it combines energy work and it combines the law of attraction. And so it's a modality that I offer. The way that remote reality shifting actually works is that you tell me what the issue is, what your ideal outcome is, and the emotion most strongly associated with that outcome. Then I do energy work by aligning to the vibration of your desire, of the outcome, and then holding that vibration and sending that energy to you. This energy work, there is no time frame on it, right? When it comes to manifesting, when it comes to the spiritual realm, the energetic realm, time isn't like a concept there. So the amount of time, that it might take me to complete this energy work, it could be done in an hour or it could take weeks or days. It all depends on, where you're at energetically, where the energy's at and what's being called for. So it's really it's like asking it's like, going to pray and then you're asking God, okay, God, when's my house gonna come? And it's like it's such the wrong question. But I do want to be transparent and say that like this energetic work, it's not something I do once usually and then it's over. Oftentimes like I need to come back and do more energetic work here, align more strongly to this desire, this outcome, visualize repeatedly, this person in this place or in this state. And so you have a humongous portion to do with this because it is ultimately about you and the focus of you. So once whatever it is that you've asked for has manifested, whatever you're trying to call in has manifested, you need to tell me, tell me that it's manifested. Oftentimes, I may already know that it came into the 3D, but oftentimes I don't. And so it's important that you tell me when it has. That way I can take and extract my energy out of that and then free it up to be used for someone else, to help someone else reach their goal, to manifest something that they're looking to seek. So I have a really beautiful explanation on my website of everything I'm telling you as it relates to remote reality shifting. So I want to read that to you. And then, yeah. So it is important to understand that whatever solution you desire already exists in another vibrational reality outside of space and time. Mhm. The way that intentional manifestation works requires aligning to that vibrational reality and shifting oneself to it. So, what I am doing is, let's say that you are trying to manifest getting a particular job. There's a reality where you already have the job. So, I align myself and shift my reality to the one where you have the job. And then I live, act, and breathe as if that is now, that reality has already occurred. And that helps me to send that energy and emit that frequency to you so that you can align to it. So, to elaborate on that, the more focus, attention, and energy that is put on the desired reality, the more likely it is to manifest. And I have in parentheses here, if it is in the highest good of everyone involved. I don't help manifest things that that are harmful, that are not in the highest good of all. Um, so if I can consciously see that this is the case, then I then I won't do it. um, and if it's something I can't consciously see, but your intent behind whatever your request is not in the highest good of all, then of course the powers that be, the universe source, will likely thwart that in some way. So um, keep your intentions good. Okay. And then lastly, here, I follow up with you. We follow up with you about every 3 months or so to inquire, see how things are going. Unless you proactively reach out to us and tell us that it's manifested. I reach out about every 3 months and see how that is going and see if it's coming or what have you. That way I know if I need to continue to send my energy towards this or whether I can shift my focus elsewhere. But this is a really, really cool modality. And the way I've used it for myself is I talked earlier about my ethos, and you're working with, it's very much similar energy, but it's just a different take and a different technique to working with the law of attraction. But what I love about this and how I've used it in my life is I take, a reality, I take a desire that I have that I want, and then I begin to live as if it has already occurred. I feel the feeling as if I tap into the spiritual, into the non physical, to access the reality where that already exists. And then I embody that. And it's usually a gradual process of more and more beginning to embody the energy of that reality where what I want already exists, where it already occurred. And the more that I do that, the more that my reality begins to shift to align to that. And so it's you can do this for yourself. I do it for myself, obviously, but I've also been able to do it for other people. It often, if you could do a coaching session with me, you may experience a little bit of this because energy is energy, right? You can't you can't contain it, and I have no desire to. But oftentimes, when I'm coaching someone, helping someone, they have something they want, I'm helping them align to that. That's very much the same thing, except I'm, instructing them, guiding them through, walking them through this process of aligning to this new reality. Where in this instance, with the remote reality shifting, it's not a coaching session. You're submitting to me the situation, the information, what you want, and then I'm doing this energetic work on my own. So it's not like a coaching session in that respect. And that's really the difference, is that this is energy work purely. It's not like coaching one on one, anything like that. But often my coaching clients, after I help them talk through something that they want, help them align to that, unbeknownst to whether they realize it's happening or not, it manifests for them. I've had this happen countless times. So, with the remote reality shifting, though, it's very much like how you might think of Reiki, or how you might think of, like a tarot reading of sorts. All that's manifestation work. All that is interpreting energy. Um, but my intention specifically with the way I work with the energy is to and assist you in manifesting what you want into shifting states of reality. So that is remote reality shifting. All right, now the next offering I have under life is one of my favorites, and it's personalized reprogramming audio track, PRA tracks. I created PRA tracks from my personal desire to combine my love of music with my love of the law of attraction, of deconditioning, of reprogramming myself. It's a combination of these two things. So we do a consultation together. We actually do get on the phone, get on a Zoom, have a consultation where I seek to discover what your desires are, what your goals are, and then also what your musical preferences are. Think again, you may notice a through thread with the remote reality shifting. It's also me seeking to understand what you want, what your goal is, what your next step is, what you're trying to reach for. And so with this, we do a consultation where I also get a lot of information I need about musical preferences, sound effect preferences, what you and how you intend to use this, right? Do you want to sleep to it? Do you want to work to it or study to it? Do you want it to be something upbeat? Do you want it to be really relaxing and chill? Do you want nature sounds? Do you want it to sound like you're in busy traffic? I mean, whatever floats your boat. But it's key for me to understand, what are you looking for? How can I create this PRA track in a way that serves your highest good and that resonates most closely in your life in a way that it's going to be easy for you to use. You're going to be excited to listen to it, and it's going to serve the dual purpose of helping you reprogram yourself. So after we do the consultation, the next step is creating the affirmations. So I create the affirmations, and the next step is the track, right? The track where the affirmations are being spoken. These are what you are reprogramming yourself with. And so I usually strongly recommend that this bit is in your voice. That is in your voice. But it doesn't have to be. It can also be in my voice, whatever you prefer. No judgment there. So the audio track is recorded of the affirmations. Either you record it in your voice or it is in mine. And then after that, I work the magic. I start creating the musical track. I start layering in the affirmation track. And then once I am done with this process, and then I make sure that it's to your specifications and it's got the right energy and it feels good, then I make it available for you to download. Now, there's two options with a PRA track. Option one is to have it be subliminal. Subliminal means that consciously you cannot hear the affirmations when you listen to the music, but there is still a frequency being emitted, and it is still penetrating subconsciously. The benefit and the point of that is so that your conscious mind isn't getting in the way of you shifting. It's not getting in the way of those beliefs that you are trying to reprogram yourself with. The other option is just like an affirmation track. I call it like a regular track. And that is where you can hear the affirmations. You can hear your voice or my voice along with the music. There's nothing wrong with either. They're both suitable. But with the one where you can actually hear the voice, you are engaging with it consciously as well. So I often find that if you are listening to it and you can hear the affirmations, and then you find that your mind's, like going back and forth about some, or your mind's like, yeah, well, like I am abundant, and your mind's like, yeah, right, like blah blah blah. Think about our money situation right now. Okay, if that's happening, then you need to switch to a subliminal. You need to switch to a subliminal. That way your conscious mind isn't, causing internal battles every time you listen to the track. And you can actually begin to soften those contradictory beliefs, and open yourself up more to the beliefs you actually want to have at your program. So, yeah, those are the two options. And okay, well, actually, the third option is you can get both, right? You can either do just the subliminal, or you can do just the affirmation track where you can hear the affirmations, or you can get both. With the both option, the music is the same. Okay. All right. And then the last offering I currently have under life is a workshop, where I guide you through this really fun process of manifesting your dream house. And I know that this is such a desire for so many people, especially nowadays when it can sometimes seem like there's all these things outside of us that are preventing us from getting what we want or being able to have a home. And this just helps you cut through all of that. And it's combining everything that I've learned about how to manifest things. It's combining energy work, it's combining field work, getting out and actually beginning to live in that new reality, feeling for that new reality. And so it's a blast. So on my website, I offer a workbook that is a companion to a YouTube video I've created called Manifest Your Dream House. And the workbook essentially takes you step by step through the process. It gives you all the prompts that are presented in the video, in a workbook form that you can write in. It's just digital, so you obviously have to print it out. But you print this out and then you can follow along with the workbook. And it also includes prompts and scripts and additional information and perspectives that aren't actually in the video. So it is not only the workbook, but it provides supplemental and additional information to support you in the process of manifesting your dream house. So that is the last offering that I have under life. Now, is this the full extent of what I offer as a life coach, as an energy worker? Absolutely not. If there's something that you want, if there's something that you feel called to reach out to me about, if you really resonate with my energy, but maybe not with any of these specific offerings, then reach out to me and we can do a short consultation and I can understand what you're looking for, what might serve you best, and I can make a recommendation and then we can go from there. So, but those are all of the offerings under life. And what I really, really love about what I do is that I get to help you with anything. And you know, I consider myself a businesswoman as well as a spiritual guide, as well as an artist, and so many other things. Um, but I don't niche. I don't. I don't niche because I am a full, complex, well rounded human. There are so many aspects of me in my life, and I learn from and I'm given tools to assist me in manifesting and managing and optimizing all of these different areas of my life and share these with you. And so that's why I have so many different offerings. It's because every single thing that I have learned and I have mastered and that has become medicine to me, I am being called to share this with you. So, nothing is ever off limits with me. There's no topic that we ever can't talk about. There's nothing that's ever too sensitive or taboo. If you want to talk about sex, let's do it. You want to talk about deep, dark secrets? Let's do it. You want to talk about crime? Let's do it. You want to talk about anything? We can do that. That's because life isn't off limits, right? You need to be able to talk to someone about even the deepest, darkest things that you feel like you can't talk to someone about. I really do feel that that is one of the things that holds us back is this fear of being revealed, this fear of being completely seen, and of this judgment of our brothers and sisters for who they are, for what they've done, and the seeming, desire for, punitive measures, to punish people, which is completely um, detrimental. It really doesn't serve anyone. To whether you're the punisher or the one being punished, you're both. It's hurting both people. So, but with all of that, it's a lot of people feel like well, I can't tell anyone that, or I can't talk to anyone about that. Or if I tell someone and they know, they really see who I've been or who I was or who I am, then they're going to reject me or, I'm going to lose someone. So you don't have to worry about that with me. I don't judge at all. I have done some of the most outrageous things. I've said some of the most hurtful, outrageous things. And I've been on the receiving end of some of the very same things. I am human. I am human, and it's okay to be human. And we can talk about being human. So I am here to serve. I'm here to help. And I'm not feeling like it's about time to wrap this up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to burn some more Palo Santo. And I'm going to pull a card from a relationship deck because we've done such a great job in like really building a relationship with each other. So I want to thank you and congratulate you for co-creating this moment, this experience with me, for investing time and energy and focus into our relationship. And I would love to know where you're watching this from. What state are you in? What country are you in? What city are you in? Tell me where you are. Where are you sending your gorgeous, yummy, focusing energy from? Okay. Last card. Ooh, 19. So appropriate. And that's the back of the card. Okay. My relationships will change when my vibration changes. You are living in the time when fewer people will attempt the impossible task of pushing the unwanted far enough away that they will be left with only that which is wanted. It is the time when more people will come to the realization that what they have been seeking is not a change in the behavior of others, or in the outside world, but of them over which they have no control, but instead an understanding of their own vibrational relationship with Source, over which they have complete control. Don't worry, I'm going to read that one more time. You are living in the time when fewer people will accept the impossible task of pushing the unwanted far enough away that they will be left with only that which is wanted. It is the time when more people will come to the realization that what they have been seeking is not a change in the behavior of others or in the world outside of them, over which they have no control, but instead an understanding of their own vibrational relationship with Source, over which they have complete control. I'm going to leave you with that, and I would love to hear from you what this means to you. How do you interpret this? How does this resonate with you in your heart and mind right now? All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Law of Asha podcast. You can learn more about what I do and what I offer and contact me at www.lawofasha.com. I love you so much, and I hope that you have a blessed day. Bye.